connections between all of us. The only person I look out in the audience that has ever been my boss was Mary Wall. I taught a class here at the university. But anyway, when I had the distinction, and I will get to fixes immediately, after we sold Hypertech to Eli Lilly, I hold the distinction as the first person they terminated. And I got to go down the hall and terminate Ted Green, and as part of my severance package. And so Ted and I started BioVest with a huge sum of $5 million, most of it given to us by two of our largest investors in Hypertech. So the first thing that I did is I set out, had a meeting with, this was early '87, had a meeting with somebody that had called me with an idea. It happened to be in a conference room at what was then Arthur Young, and went through the meeting, didn't like this idea the person gave me, and as I went to thank Arthur Young for letting me use their office, the partner said to me, I wonder if you'd do me a favor. I know this won't be sophisticated enough for you, but we have my neighbor's daughter is working here, you know, like a file clerk at the time. And the reason she's here is she is both a nurse and is getting to take her final vows as a nun. And she's having some emotional conflicts. And would you be willing to spend 10 minutes with her and give her a pat on the back and some encouragement? I said, sure. So Carol McLaughlin, or as I call her Sister Carol, no I don't. So Carol McLaughlin came in and she told me that in the hospital the narcotics were very loosely controlled, and at the end of the shift they sort of had to make up the records about, well, there are 3 morphines, we can't figure out where they went, so they said, well, one went to him, one to him, and they write it down, all that stuff, and then there'd be a sort of a snickering as to who was a drug addict amongst the nurses, and this was what was conflicting her nursing and religious points of view. So she brought in with her a box that I try to say, make sure, I sometimes say she and her father made, and I say, you mean the priest? I said, no, her dad. She and her dad made this box made out of plexiglass and plywood and had a Lazy Susan in it from the kitchen table. And the point was that they were going to put the drugs in here. You'd have to access it like an ATM to get the drugs. So normally, and you know, today you'd have hired a consultant who would have called 12 hospital pharmacists to see whether this was of interest, and of course the answer would have been no. But I reckon back to a story that I'd heard that in 1902, Alexander Graham Bell showed Teddy Roosevelt the telephone. And Roosevelt's response was, this is so terrific, I will bet you by the end of the 20th century there'll be one of these in every major city in the United States. So I decided that my due diligence would be, I said, you still have privileges at your hospital? She said, yes. So we went to the hospital the next day, and I was so caught up by her emotion. I mean, she was so sincerely interested in this. So we went to the pharmacy warehouse, then to the pharmacy, then up on the floor. And if you had hired actors to do bad things in front of me, you could not have seen more than I saw. So I got to the end of my 4-hour stay in the hospital and said, Carol, I said, I'm not sure you have a solution, but you have revealed a problem to me. And so I said, what about this for a deal? I would put up $500,000 for 51% of the company. They had filed a patent. You can give me the patent. And I said, I want to name the company Pyxis. Based on my technical background in the history of art class, I knew a Pyxis was a Greek vase used for holding medicinals. And I thought it sounded high-tech. So I named the company. I had my brother-in-law draw a logo. If you look at it on the picture out here, it looks like a little nun looking down. And I said, but I need to run this by my partner, Ted Green. So I got back to the office and told Ted about it. And Ted's response was, well, this will never be that big, but at least it'll be a little faster to market than most of these biotech ideas. So it fits into the medical, let's go ahead and do it. So the next step was Ron Taylor was asked to leave the Hypertech Lilly situation. He came to me and needed a job. In my experience at Hypertech, Ron had done more for less money than most of the people I dealt with. And he had been both the head of operations and then branched out in international marketing. So he agreed to take the job and build a team. Now just some of the, I thought like some of the major events in this is, we did put another $500,000 into it, and I did get one of the big Bay Area funds, which I won't name for the later story, to go ahead and put another $1 million in this. Later on, when we went to raise the next round, we'd gone $1 a share, $1 a quarter, $1.50 a share. They said, we don't need the money till a month from now, let's do it at the next board meeting. So at the next board meeting, they said, we want to put $4 million in, but at 10 cents a share, and we don't need you on the board anymore. The guy who was delivering this to me had played college football, but for some reason I got across the table and had him pinned against a wall. And I honestly to God do not know how I got there, but I survived it. And we had to call Mr. Hillman, our limited partner, who gave us another $1 million to keep ourselves from being crushed in this thing. The next time we were running out of money, and I can tell you right now, we went into hospitals with this. Nurses said, I don't want a computer, I'm a caregiver. Pharmacist said, oh no, we have a pretty good manual system here. And the management said, why would I spend money on something like this when I already have a gym locker with a padlock on it and give the key to the meanest nurse? So we were really doing well. Then I got a call from a venture capitalist on the East Coast, not Jim, that said he had heard about this and was interested, and would I be able to show it to him someplace. So I was traveling to Dallas, so I met him at the Dallas airport. I think we had 12 units in the world at this time out there, and I took him to I had to check with the company, where is it, on what floor, what hospital. So I met him at the airport. We drive to this hospital in Dallas. I hope I don't get teary doing this story. I sometimes do. So we're walking down the floor of the hospital, and I spot the Pyxis unit, and there's this nurse coming toward me, and I said, excuse me, ma'am, can you tell me what this is? And she said, this is my Pyxis unit. And she said, this is the most wonderful thing that has happened to me in my nursing career. And if I had a choice between giving up my firstborn or my Pyxis unit, it'd be a close call. So I kind of went, well, can you show me how it works? And she goes over and it was, touch the screen up on the screen, come to the patient, touch the patient, come up what the patient then prescribed, touch that and dispensed it and updated the medical records and the billing. So we're walking out of the hospital and this guy says to me, Tim, don't pull some sort of stunt like this. And I said, John, I have never been in this hospital before. I have never seen this nurse before. And he said, how about $5 million? So that was a big financial break for us. And then the next really interesting break for us is we were at a hospital one day trying to talk to a nurse about something, and she said, I can't talk to you now, my shift is coming off and I have the duty to count the pills today. And we went, what? And they said, yeah, every time the shift changes, you have a person from the ongoing shift and the offgoing shift that count the pills. So we did a quick study and figured out it was costing about $1,000 a month per nursing station to count the pills and overtime pay. And then we went to 4 states and got approval that the Pyxis machine was a perpetual inventory machine and you didn't have to count the pills at the end of the shift. So now we went to hospitals and say, would you believe this is costing you $1,000 a month to count pills? They said, yes. And we said, what if we rent you a machine for $500? You make $500, we make $500, and everybody's great. And we started putting it out there. And we ended up getting a nice lease line and started putting these things in, saying, use it for 2 months. If you don't like it, we'll take it out. If you do like it, we'll take it back. But you've got to then keep it for 48 months.